Lucky Lefty Podcast, Onora Boy, back in the building, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so
responsibly.
You gotta do it responsibly. Left, yo, first of all, how you doing, Left, man? You see, I'm full of smiles, bro. Look, God is good, bro. God is good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, hey, it's been a hectic week and a half, 2 weeks, trying to get everything together. Just came out of fall camp myself, so I know the grind is real, and Notre Dame's about to get into their grind, and it's going to be a good season. And finally, it's here. We've been waiting for a little bit.
So everybody's probably like, "Man, fellas, where the hell have you been?" Well,
that's right.
Like Left just said, he's been 2-a-days out there. God has blessed him to make a move, and unfortunately, he's in the toughest conference in the state of Arizona.
That's right. That's right.
Might take, with his young squad, young talented squad, it might take a season or two to climb to the top of the mountain, bro. That Brophy and that Chaparral game, bro.
Yeah, good coaching, you can lessen the gap. You can close that window a little smaller with good coaching. So hopefully, this first year we can come out with our feet on fire.
Man, but super proud, super blessed for you, your family, and as for myself, I have been in. It is funny because I go to LA as soon as Left leaves.
Yeah,
it goes to Arizona.
Crazy.
So I am somewhat of a daddy jerk now, Left. For those of you who know, my beautiful daughter, who's a graduate of theater and film from University of Southern California. Yes, my tuition went to the Ops. I apologize for that, Notre Dame fans, but I am extremely proud of baby girl. And immediately from that, she released her new single. It's available on all ASPs, all SPs, and it's doing quite well. It really is. It's doing quite well. The remix with one of our hometown favorites here, Adam Ness, is already in the works with the video, and it's absolutely amazing. And I was out there on my dadager thing for the last 2 to 3 weeks, bro, because she walked straight out of graduation into a blessing. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say about it right now. I can't talk about it too much. She walked directly into a project. God is good, and is when I can give everyone the news and let them know, I'll release it right here.
I'll let them know.
I'll release it right here. I'll release it right here on the podcast. You guys will be the first to know. But just know, oh, it's on like popcorn, baby. As they say, it's on like popcorn.
It's on like popcorn.
That's why I had to start the show saying God is good, bro. I had to because only God can open doors that no man can open. That's all I can say.
That's right.
Left the podcast. So, Left, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot has transpired when it comes to Notre Dame football since we've been gone, Left. So let me give you a layout or outline of what's going to be coming in the next few shows. We're going to have our boy Ken Gibbs on probably tomorrow. Yep. He's going to talk to us about the ACC and Clemson and the schools that are trying to bounce out, and the ACC saying, "Oh, hell no, it's not going down like that." We're going to get his feedback, and then we're going to have our boy Howard Griffith, fresh off of Big Ten Media here in Chicago, and Deshaun Foster, my brother. I mean, if you needed some cue cards before you took the stand yesterday, my brother, I'm definitely putting you on the. Hey, I was pulling for you, bro.
Yeah.
That is not the way to introduce yourself to the national media by saying, we're UCLA, we're in LA. No kidding. We're UCLA. It's I don't know if you guys know, we're located in Los Angeles. What?
That Wasn't a good opening line. Wasn't a good opening line, huh?
What? Who is the SID? They didn't prepare you? In your opening statement, you could have taken cue card. We're in Los Angeles and it's us in USC. No,
for real. Yeah,
for real, for
it's
real.
It's only a couple schools in California
that matter. California has a lot.
That matter, yeah.
It's UC Irvine, UC Northridge, UC, dude. It's so many UCs. UC Davis. It's
big time football is only 2 schools in LA. USC, UCLA. Everything else is like JUCO, D2, trying to make it, get a D3 school in there, So crazy.
But thank you for alerting us to the fact that the 2 LA schools are now in the Big Ten.
Which is, I think that's going to hurt travel in some cases,
Yeah.
Basketball, even football season, half your games is across the country.
Yeah. So
never see nothing like that.
On top of those 2 guests over the next few days, we're also going to have a very special show tomorrow. I want you guys to lock in with us tomorrow morning. As I was away, I got a text message from Left, and Left in transition, I guess, was unpacking and found his actual quarterback notebook from Notre Dame when Mike Denbrock was his OC.
That's right.
He actually sent me pictures of this notebook. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely fantastic because this is probably some of the same information, sayings, and points that are being given out to Riley Leonard, CJ Carr, Kenny Minchie, Steve Angeli, and the entire quarterback room. It was crazy. Same coach. Yeah. And so we're Left is going to reveal that tomorrow, talk about some of the points as we prepare for camp, which begins on July 31st. The first practice is next Wednesday. We are literally a week out from that crawl to Aggie Nation as we
what are they looking like right now?
It don't matter, bro. I don't care what they look. Nah, I think most Notre Dame fans would say it really look, man. I don't care what they look like. Let's just get the dub. That's a lot of Notre Dame fans I talk to. I don't know if they feel the way we feel. A dub is not good enough for me, Left.
Over.
Yeah.
That's just me. Now, there's some people that might feel like, man, I don't care. Just get a 1-point victory. I'm fine with it. It's a road game starting off the season, the SEC environment. As long as we win and get out of there with a W, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's all about the W.
Yeah, I want a statement. Yeah, I'm greedy. Left. I want a statement. I need double digits. I know it's the first game. There are going to be mistakes, but it's year 3, and I need a statement because after Texas A&M, I don't know if there's another statement game until November. I just don't know, right?
Yeah, everything's about maintenance until we get to the playoffs because there's no we're only going to get better as the season continues. So this first game is big because we're excited to see what we look like. But by week 8, or week 6, it's like, okay, guys, we just got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. Because nobody's going to give us any credit or nobody's going to give us any sympathy for making these games close. Because during that time, end of October, early November, it's going to be winning has to be winning in style. It's not going to be good enough to win by a touchdown or 10 points because people are going to be like, y'all so good, y'all playing it close with who? Why would y'all play it close if y'all so good, right? So, winning in style is something that we have to take on as a team because after the first 4 games, that should be a point victory margin of at least 30 points, which doesn't set us up good for later in the season, but we should be very, very hot these first 4 or 5 games going into the year.
Let me tell you something, Left. I am I'm just in a place where I'm greedy. People can talk about expectations and not having expectations, talking about weak links, concerns about the offensive line, concerns about, the health of Riley Leonard, concerns about wide receiver recruiting, which we'll get to in a moment. There's just so many concerns that people have, but the truth of the matter is you have a talented, not young, but a talented, slightly inexperienced roster. A talented, slightly inexperienced roster. And you're going on the road against an SEC opponent that is not at the same stage. Do they have talent on the roster? Yes. Are they at the same stage of development for a program? No, that you are. So that right there tells me you should be at least a 7 to 10 point favorite going into this. That's the victory you should come out with, 7 to 10 points. I want double digits. Like I said, I want the state. A lot of people feel like the Louisville game, it's at home, it's revenge. I think I already know how that's going to go. I just feel like Louisville is going to walk into a buzzsaw. That's just the way I feel. That's just not a good look for Louisville. And then after that, we have to wait until November. USC, Florida State. And Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans, if you all want to use the Big Ten as an excuse to stop taking these whippings, I understand. It's the perfect excuse. We're in the Big Ten now. We have to come to the Midwest a lot more, cut down on travel and expenses. We understand. That whipping we put on you and Caleb Williams last year, we understand. We get it.
That put the rivalry to bed right there.
Yeah, we get it.
If y'all can't come close with a Heisman quarterback.
We get it. We understand. Yeah. We wouldn't want any smoke either. We would. Lucky Lefty podcast. So, Left, let's start with something that you are very impressed by. You continue to be impressed by Marcus Freeman. The question I want to ask you is how much longer do you expect this to last? Because you were talking about the New York media run that Notre Dame just made as a team. Marcus Freeman throwing out the first pitch at the Mets baseball game, also at the Yankees.
He's really trying to throw that thing too.
Yeah, he needs some work on that first pitch though. The one at Yankee Stadium was a little suspect, bro. Is that how you all play baseball in Ohio?
Never. You can just tell he didn't quite know the distance well enough because he was like, should I throw it like it hard or?
Okay.
The bright lights got bright for it, but it just shows that Notre Dame is the most important college football team because we're not even from New York, but we have our media day in New York. We don't have to go to Chicago like the Big Ten or
hey,
Texas.
Relax. Hold on now. Relax.
Or Texas like the Big 12. No. We got our own personal media conglomerate. And it's cool that we on Good Morning America, ESPN. We hitting all the daytime television shows and free cable TV shows. So I think that Marcus Freeman is the perfect fit for being the face of a program. It would be nice to have a player have that Marcus Freeman effect on these media days. They just looks like Marcus Freeman and friends when they go up because the brother not only got the good TV voice, but he also got suited and booted. He's the freshest guy on the TV screen. So, it would be nice to see his quarterback or a player on the team be that face. But, it was a regularly scheduled programming. It's good to see those boys be encouraged. The brand, every time they go to New York, I feel like the brand increases for not only the players, but the Marcus Freeman brand is growing. And he's doing a good job of putting that ND insignia out there and in the positive light. And a lot of teams are anticipating this, but are also unexpecting of what we can do. And I think Marcus Freeman going on there and just saying, hey, we're coming. Because that's all we can really say. But this is the year 3 of a program where there's not a lot of room for excuses, but there is a fork in the road for where are we going as a program. Are we trending upwards or are we trending downwards? I think this is the year you can really determine that because, like we said, all his recruits are in. He got his quarterback. Defense has been top 10 the last 2 years. You got one of the top receivers from last year in the transfer portal. The running game's been there. So now it's either put up or shut up. And I think this is the year for that.
Yeah. I can agree with that, Love. And I think one of the things as we move forward, we saw everything that transpired with not only Marcus Freeman on ESPN, Lincoln Riley, Jordan Clark, and the other players that accompanied them on the trip to New York. I think, as you said before, the strength of the Notre Dame brand is stronger than ever, stronger than ever. And I try to tell people all the time, as someone that was connected to the network for 5 to 6 years, through employment, and Notre Dame fans feeling like that ESPN are the ops, and people have to understand. I said there's a difference between the business boardroom and the production side, right? There's a reason why, whether or not it is Fox Sports or ESPN, Fox Sports chooses to talk about the Cowboys all the time, right? ESPN constantly has the Cowboys on all the time. Now that Aaron Rodgers is in New York, they constantly have the Jets on Get Up as a topic all the time. Why? Because they know, because they have people that are really good at their jobs, regardless of what people feel from a fandom standpoint, they know the narratives and the teams and the personalities that push the buttons positively or negatively. It's not about making people like what you say. It's getting them to tune into what you say. That is the business of media. And producers don't care whether or not you like what they put out there as topics. As long as they know that they're going to get your attention, they're going to acquire your ratings, they win. They win. Producers are really not the friends of fans, if I'm going to tell you the truth of behind the scenes. So from a producer standpoint, or even from a talent standpoint, yes, I understand why people might feel that there's a hatred towards Notre Dame. There's a bias towards Notre Dame and against Notre Dame. But I try to remind people all the time, the boardroom at ESPN loves Notre Dame. The execs love Notre Dame. The execs have an incredible relationship with Notre Dame. They have an incredible relationship with Jack Swarbrick. And people don't want to. I'm trying to tell you, there is a great relationship on the business side, not the production side, not the talent side. We know the bias. On the talent side, it's a heavy SEC slant.
Heavy. We
understand that. We understand that. But on the business side, ESPN absolutely loves Notre Dame. Oh, yeah, they would lay in bed with Notre Dame for the rest of their lives. It's a wonderful marriage. Absolutely wonderful marriage. And so just the fact that Notre Dame is spread across for 2 days, spread across the entire broadcasting of ESPN. Like you said, Left, the ACC, their network has to go ahead and do the grunt of the work. The SEC network has to do the grunt of the work to promote the media day. The Big Ten network has to do that. Notre Dame is the only brand that gets their own light on ESPN. The only brand. Georgia doesn't get that. Alabama doesn't get that. Not on the big network. On the affiliates, yes. But on the big network, nah. No. And like you said, that speaks to where Notre Dame stands on the business side of college football. Let's get to the on-field Left, because you talk about the brand, the business side, the media run in New York, the growth and the love that continues to grow for Marcus Freeman and the way he's seen on the college football landscape. The recruiting has gotten better. The talent on the roster has gotten better. But we have yet to see it fully manifest itself on the field. We've seen glimpses, like against Clemson. We've seen glimpses for 3 out of 4 quarters in 2 consecutive years against Ohio State. We've seen glimpses in the domination of Caleb Williams and USC at home last year. We have seen glimpses from Marcus Freeman's teams on the field. How much longer does Marcus Freeman have to be the media darling before people start to say, hey, it's enough with all that media stuff? It's time to see it on the field. Left. Is it 24? Is it this year? Or is it 2025 where people are finally going to say, okay, things need to start aligning themselves on the field, along with being the media darling off the field? How do you feel about that, Left? Oh man, maybe we lost Left. How do you feel about that? That's the LL question of the day. LL question of the day. How long are you guys going to be accepting of the media darling that is Marcus Freeman not lining up with Notre Dame being a consistent contender for a national championship? Is it 2024? Is it 2025? How are you feeling about that Lucky Lefty podcast? So let's get to it. That covers the media run. You want to, and you back, Left? You want to answer that? You're on mute.
The what part?
Yeah. How long before you stop giving, I guess, a grace per se to Marcus Freeman? He's already the media darling. And
yeah, I mean, he's got that Obama effect. And I think the only thing that can deter that right now is winning.
Now, is that pre-White House Obama or post-White House Obama?
I don't know. Obama's had the same effect since they even said he was a candidate.
I don't know. That's debatable.
But
that's debatable.
Pre-Obama, maybe before the inauguration, maybe after the first year.
Okay.
I think he's got, interestingly, he's got more of the positive media spin for where he's at in his career and where he's at Notre Dame than most places would. Lincoln Riley at USC just had a Heisman candidate, and we talk about Lincoln Riley like a dog every day in the media. Oh, but you don't got defense. every year. They're like, is he on the hot seat? Is he about to get fired? Because he just can't stop nobody on defense. However, Marcus Freeman, with no quarterback, the years he's been there, has still been the media darling as a guy that everybody wants to be a part of that. It's the trending program, and the perspective has changed. So for a coach to come in and hold that weight of a program changer, a program evolver, and still not have quite the wins and losses that you need to solidify that, just shows that Marcus Freeman has everything to lose and everything to gain. So where he's at right now is a very good spot if you're on the cusp of showing what you can really do. If this is all for show and he's not very serious and this is just trying to just get more years under the belt at Notre Dame, then it's going to reveal itself this year. This is the put up or shut up year. And I think after this year, depending on how it goes, if it doesn't go well, then you're gonna see a different Notre Dame. So I think it's a double-edged sword. As well as he's built this program in year 3, it can be really, really good after this year, or it can be overinflatedly bad if it doesn't work. Yeah. Like the Buffalo Bills, like how good were we expecting them to be? Then they crash out in the first round of playoffs, and now how do we feel about it? They still want to hype up Josh Allen, but how can you? He's won nothing. In fact, he lost when his best year. So, whatever.
Yeah, hyping up cats, winning games against South Sudan. Lucky Lefty podcast.
Wait, he did it against Germany. He did it against South Sudan. Hold on now. We're not going to just act like LeBron not carrying the team.
We're really about to carry in South Sudan. Once again, are we doing that?
It's the World Cup. It's the World Cup.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Don't let the name fool you.
I expect better from you, bro.
He playing so well, they got him carrying out the flag. What about that?
Where's dude? Let me see. That logo, is that the Clutch Sports logo on your t-shirt? Is that what that is?
Hey, why are we hating on greatness? He's taking over games. If this was and this is year 21 now. Now, if this was if LeBron's playing like this season with
You're
Bron,
proud of that? You're proud of that?
listen,
You're proud. You're proud of taking over games against South Sudan. You're proud of
wait a
that?
minute. He's taking over games with other superstars. Where's Steph? Where's KD? Where's Anthony Edwards?
Let me
Where's
ask you a
Joel
question.
Embiid?
Let me ask you a question. This is his fourth Olympics. Is this his
What
fourth
the-
Olympics? Wait. Is this his fourth Olympics or his third? No, I'm just asking. Is this his third or fourth?
It's one of them.
I think it's his third. I think it's his third, if I'm not mistaken.
It's his third year, 21. He shouldn't be the star of the team.
So it took him until 39 to become the alpha dog on the.
Oh, okay.
The last time when he played, Kobe was the alpha dog when he actually played with Kobe.
Everybody know you let Kobe have that.
So he didn't want the ball against Spain at the end of the game because he let Kobe have that. Lucky podcast. Let's get to these receivers, love, because I see now, you work for Clutch. Enjoy that check. I get it. So Notre Dame had a very promising July when it was official visit season. They had 3 prominent wide receivers visit all the visits according to all reports and intel, not only from the program side, but from the young men and their families, was that Notre Dame knocked it out the park. Right? Wide receiver coach Mike Brown, offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, the entire staff. That's the way they've been attacking recruiting collectively as a staff. And I love that approach because that's needed, especially in certain areas. And Tanuk Hines out of Houston, Texas. You had Jaden Robinson out of California. And then you have Derek Meadows out of Bishop Gorman, Las Vegas. All 4-star wide receivers. We've done film breakdowns on all 3. We loved all 3. We gave our preference. Derek Meadows, for me, was 3rd on the list. A lot of people have him 1st on the list because he's 6'5", the measurables, the speed, all of that. And I'm like, I haven't seen production. He's been there and he's a senior. It's taking you to your senior year to break out, but everybody's journey is different. He can end up being one of the greatest wide receivers that ever lived. That's up to him. That's up to the young man. Notre Dame eventually, after the official visits, they come out of there feeling like they could possibly get 2 out of 3. I don't think there was any shot they were ever going to land all 3. But a lot of, coming out of the visits, was it a possibility they'd get 2 of the 3 pass catchers in the class of 26? Yes. 25, I'm sorry. And then somehow, some way, it may be a week out. I remember doing a recruiting show and talking to my guy, Ryan Roberts. Shout out to Ryan Roberts on his new gig. By the way, haven't had a chance to congratulate him. I congratulated him on the recruiting hour, but not here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. The intel that he had gotten in the conversations we had led to us, bringing up on the show the possibility that Notre Dame could actually strike out and go 0 for 3. And the possibility was real. And in my wildest dreams, I just didn't want to believe it. You know how you hear all the analytics and the information and you're like, I just don't want to believe it, right? I just don't want to face it, right? So I'm going to hold out hope and keep the faith. But things were trending that way. And I just felt like, not again. Like fate wouldn't treat us this way again when it comes to wide receiver recruiting. Like this is not going to force us to go back to the transfer portal next offseason at this position again. Things went too good on the visits. The feedback from both sides, the program, the coaches, the family, the young men, no. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, when the smoke cleared, just over a week ago, when Derek Meadows chose Brian Kelly, which was probably it made it worse. He chose Brian Kelly and LSU. That probably made it worse. And so I just saw the vitriol amongst the fan base after the Derek Meadows decision left, and the angst and the disappointment amongst the fan base, and people just really throwing daggers at Mike Brown and being upset.
Daggers.
And yeah, just verbal daggers, you know, with their tweets and harsh words. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, what don't you get? Like, I'm just as disappointed as everyone else, right? Because I'm like, yo, we're gonna have to go to the portal again. We're gonna have to depend on the portal again at this position, this pivotal position, right? I'll take it a step further, left. I'm like, yo, how is this going to affect Deuce? Dude, you can't land any top receivers. And I'm like, it's already battle enough to keep Deuce in the class.
Yeah.
Like, yo, how is this going to affect Deuce?
Players around him.
Absolutely. You can talk to that. You can talk to that as a quarterback when you get a chance to tap in, left. But I just want to say this. You know, because I had a lot of people say, you have to explain it to me. And I told them I'm going to save it for the pod. I'm going to save it for the pod.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, this is really simple. Okay. Jaden Robinson committed to Washington. Tanuk Hines committed to USC, I believe. Did I miss that?
No, I think it was USC.
I think it was USC. It was USC or Texas. I'm drawing a blank right now. Yeah, it was USC. Derek Meadows committed to LSU. So as angry and disappointed as you are, let me give you a silver lining. It is very possible that for all three, and I know you don't want to hear this. No one wants to hear this. For all three, Notre Dame probably finished second. For all three.
So that ain't just runner up to all the three.
And that's no one remembers who finishes second in recruiting, right? No. And there's no sure way to say who finished second unless you sit
that's
down.
A good thing that we're, you know.
I'm trying to give a silver line. But in giving that silver lining, we have to be honest, right? First, we have to be honest with the effort. And we have to put accountability and responsibility on Mike Brown and the offensive staff and say, it's not good enough. You weren't good enough to close the deal. That's where it lies. That's where it lies. You weren't good enough. We have to get better. We have to get better. All right? We have to get better. But I'm going to tell you why Mike Brown's offseason is not more important than Mike Brown's in season.
Right.
I'm about to explain it to you. As much as you're disappointed by Mike Brown's offseason,
in season matters way
two
more.
Receivers committed, and both of those receivers are like, one is top 200, the other one is like ranked 350. I get it. Elijah Burris, Jerome Bettis Jr. I get it. You're not excited about that. I understand. You go 0 for 3 with Tanuk Hines, Derek Meadows, and Jaden Robinson. I get it. You're upset. You don't care about the silver lining of Notre Dame normally not even being in the picture with 3 top 4-star receivers.
Right.
And the progress that's actually been made in a short time. I know. You go back and you look at the class that the former wide receiver coach brought in. And if he had stayed, he probably would have brought in another class that was redundant. He probably would have brought in another class of receivers that do the exact same thing. Let me stop being petty. I know they were all 4 stars, but they all did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They all did the exact same thing. Gave the wide receiver room no flexibility. And then the receivers that went in there, he couldn't develop them. but I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll come back to it. We'll circle back.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. So, what's the silver lining? Why is the silver lining important? It's important because to come in second and combine that with the most important part of Mike Brown's job this year, not moving forward. Because next year in 26, that wide receiver recruiting is going to have to take a step forward, a huge step forward. Yeah. I'm not absolving him. I'm not absolving him and Mike Denbrock of what just took place. Not at all. Blame is there. Blame is there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be honest with you. Notre Dame has not had a wide receiver drafted. Left. I'm not playing. Notre Dame has not had a wide receiver drafted in any round since 2020, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, scratch your head. Yeah, scratch your head. Scratch your head.
No, wait.
Scratch your head. Who?
Miles Williams win. Him and Chase will win. That's 2020?
I said since 2020. I said since 2020.
Oh, but those were okay. In fairness, 2020 after Miles, EQ, and Chase were all young guys. Because we had what? It was Lindsey was there. He was young.
Chase was 19, right?
No.
I think it's 2020, bro. Unless I read the information incorrectly, 2020 was the last year they had a ride.
I think Lindsey didn't want to play. Kevin Austin got picked up 7th round.
Free agent. No, Kevin Austin was a free agent, bro. Come on now. Come on now. Kevin Austin was
that was for like 3 seasons. Oh, no, Scarana got picked up too. But Scarana got a Super Bowl, so like, what do you call that? You're
making a lot of excuses, Left. Can I get to my point, bro? This is a Notre Dame athlete, boy. They want to defend the program, boy. He's trying to stick up for the wide receivers. Boy, I love you, Left. I love you, loyal.
Yeah, I think it's because they're loyal.
You are loyal. I love you. You are loyal to boy. You are loyal to a fault. My point is, Left. LSU doesn't have that problem. USC doesn't have that problem.
LSU doesn't have that problem, no.
Washington doesn't have that problem. Washington just put.
Washington just got okay. Wait a minute. Washington just got on with the receiver game. Like
that's not true. That's not true. You can go up. John Ross. Washington has a litany of receivers they put in the NFL that have been drafted. Come on, Left. Stop. Come on, man. We are not about to compare wide receiver development at Washington to Notre Dame. We're not. Especially since the wide receiver coach that just put 3 wide receivers in the NFL was the wide receiver coach that Marcus Freeman wanted, but some offensive coordinator that never happens at any other school in Notre Dame had veto.
That never happens at any other school.
Never happens at any other school. Offensive coordinator has veto power over who the wide receiver coach. But don't get me started, Left. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. So I will go deeper and say, hey, this is not, we can't just lay this at the feet. This is the fruit of the bad seed that was sown from a bad situation that was given to Marcus Freeman. If we want to keep it a buck, the fruit is still bearing from that bad decision. As that wide receiver coach develops 3 NFL wide receivers and lucky.
Okay, but three.
Hey, but let me get back to this. Let's just say 2020. If you want to research it, Left, and rebuttal, that's fine. 2020. LSU, USC, Washington, they don't have that problem, ladies and gentlemen. So just face the facts. Somebody asked me on Twitter, what? I don't understand it. What don't you understand? Notre Dame doesn't develop wide receivers to get drafted. They don't. They literally just changed the quarterback room. They didn't even have quarterbacks. They didn't have quarterbacks. Can we get a quarterback that throws for 3,000 yards? Can we do that? Marcus Freeman. It took them some time to change the quarterback room. Guess what, Left? It's going to take time for them to change the fortunes of the wide receiver room. We don't like it.
A little bit.
You don't like
Well,
it.
to get a Will Fuller, to get a first round receiver, it's going to take some winning.
Jake Greathouse is going to be drafted.
But yeah,
Jake Greathouse is going to be drafted. Chris Mitchell more than likely is going to get drafted.
Chris Mitchell will get drafted, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Bo Collins has an opportunity to get drafted
if he runs the combine numbers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is why I say Mike Brown in season is far more important than the disappointment of this past July in 2024. Far more important. We need to see development on the field with the current roster, and we need to see them drafted so we can start to change the narrative in the wide receiver room. It has to happen. That's the most important thing from Mike Brown. It needs to be seen on the field, and it needs to be seen at the combine and in the NFL draft next winter and next spring. It has to, ladies and gentlemen. It's far more important. I understand they're still going to have to fill out. They still have to fill out the wide receiver room and recruiting. But the truth of the matter is, might I remind you that just a few years ago, freaking Charlie Jones had more receptions and receiving yards than the entire wide receiver corps at Notre Dame. Freaking Charlie Jones. That's where the Notre Dame wide receiver room was 2 years ago. That's the shape it was left in. That's the shape it was left in. And there's a lot of construction. This was not building upon something that was established. This was not building upon a strong foundation. Marcus Freeman came in and that wide receiver room was on sinking sand. It was on sinking sand. So now you have to go through the pain of reestablishing the foundation. Everybody knows. If anybody has had a crack in their foundation of their home, you know how tedious and how expensive that can be to reestablish the foundation. And this is the process that we're watching play out in real time. July 2024 was painful to watch as a fan base. It was painful to go through as a fan base. But ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe if you give Mike Brown an opportunity to show what I feel like we saw as improvement immediately from a coaching standpoint, immediately. In the Sun Bowl victory, I understand. A depleted Oregon State defense. Absolutely understand that. I'm not hanging my hat on it, but I saw enough from basic things. Urgency, separation. I saw enough to make me feel like this can continue going into fall camp. Did you like what the wide receiver showed in the spring game? Did you like the performance of a Michael Gilbert? I can tell you that Cam Williams was coming on before he got injured in the spring. Did you like the development of Jaden Greathouse? The confidence he's playing with? The identification that he's a dude? Chris Mitchell, I'm not going to give Mike Brown credit for Chris Mitchell, Bo Collins. Those guys have been developed by other coaches. They come in, they're ready to go, they're plug and go. Understand that. I'm sticking strictly to the youngsters on this roster. Jordan Faison, does he take another step forward? KK, his evolution, his improvement as a wide receiver, how he took off during bowl prep when Mike Brown got here. All of these things are leading up to what needs to happen on the field. They're no longer left. You talked about it. The quarterback excuse, not having a quarterback to attract wide receivers, that's not an excuse anymore. 2026, Mike Brown, you got to go get it. In recruiting, you got to go get it. No excuses. You have to go get it. But it starts with you helping yourself and helping this program by going out and putting out one of the best wide receiver groups in the country, because the talent has that type of capability. Youth-wise and veteran-wise, the Notre Dame wide receiver room has the ability to be a top 10 wide receiver group. There is no excuse for Notre Dame not to have a 1,000-yard receiver this year, or at least 3 wide receivers with at least 600 yards. I'm giving lofty expectations this year. Riley Leonard should be over 3,000 yards passing. Easily. They should be putting up 45, 42. I'll say they put up 37, 38 last year. I'm going to say they should put up 41 this year. 41 points a game. 41 points a game. I understand offensive line is a question. Offensive line is a question. Well, heck, if you're getting separation, you don't have to protect that long. Get the ball to the playmakers. Get it to them in space. Hopefully the running backs are not playing with 8, 9 in the box like they have to play against traditionally in Notre Dame. No wonder Kyron Williams got to the NFL and took off. He got to the NFL with a real quarterback, wheel drive receivers, and a light box, and he's like, "Oh,
this is his talent.
I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat." But that is my take left on the silver lining that Notre Dame fans just had to suffer through, going 0 for 3 with Tanuk Hines, Derek Meadows, and Jaden Robinson. I know you don't want to hear it. I know it's tough to hear, but the truth of the matter is, if I was Lincoln Riley, I would flat out tell Tanuk Hines, "You're not going to the NFL playing wide receiver in Notre Dame. Show me the proof. Show me the proof. I can show you Brendan Rice. I can show you Brendan Rice. I can show you Jordan Addison. I can show you the kid, C.D. Lamb in Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? You think Brian Kelly didn't say, Notre Dame, I'm a great coach, and I couldn't even put wide receivers in the first round of Notre Dame. It doesn't happen. But you know what I did as soon as I got to LSU? Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. I got Kyron Lacey this year. I'm just telling you what they're saying, Left. I'm keeping it a buck. That's what I would say.
That's what I would say, yeah.
That's what I would say. That's absolutely what I would say. Jaden Robinson, the staff, we weren't even the staff that was here.
True.
That put the 3 Washington wide receivers in the NFL. But guess what? We can go back before that staff got here, and Washington has always put wide receivers in the NFL. This is what they say, Left. This is all they have to say. And what is a young man and his family going to say to that? What can they say to that? What can they say? If they just met Mike Brown, they're literally just meeting Mike
Brown. So Mike Brown don't have to.
So they can't say, well, man, we really love Mike Brown. They just met him. So honestly speaking, it really just wasn't a good situation for Notre Dame. It still doesn't absolve them from not being able to close the deal. You have to be able to close the deal. You have to be able to sell it. You have to be able to eventually turn it around. But I'm going to venture to say that Mike Brown can go a long way to doing that by having a very productive wide receiver room this season, because you have the quarterbacks. That's it. It's as simple as that for me, Left. That's the silver lining in this whole thing. I'm looking forward to the season. That's it.
Absolutely. And a lot of it is because it's like, at this point, it's speculation. Speculation, theories, hypothesis. Because people can't understand what's going to make this Notre Dame team great, because Marcus Freeman can't tackle and can't score touchdowns. But they get the feeling that this is the Notre Dame team that can do it as well. And there's many things you can point to say, okay, well, if they're as good as what we think, then why are they 0 for 3 on receiver targets? But there's a very good explanation for it. But that's what the result of having a good season will give us. We won't go 0 for 3 on that. But the guys that we brought in to win these games is going to show you why receivers need to be coming out of here. We got them in the transfer portal. We've developed them, early growing up. We got young guys that can make impact. And we got the right guy, receiver coach, to cultivate the room. It's easy to negatively recruit Notre Dame receivers because we've had, 3 receiver coaches in the last 5 years. The last 4 years, it took until we had some draft picks in that room. We haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver in a long time. I mean, these are 3 huge things. Carnell Tate's like everything was good except the fact of there was no after. Yeah, I get the Notre Dame 4 for 40. Yeah, I get the Notre Dame. We were a good team. I love Marcus Freeman. But there's nothing in there for me after. I can't look at that room and say, okay, well, I got a senior that's going to go to the league, a guy that's young like me that's going to push me to be better. And, there's some underclassmen that's going to push me to keep going. So he's like, I'm going in there like Justin Scott's famous line. I don't want to be the best one in there my first day. I need some guys that's going to help me get better. Coming in, being a good player. So Riley Leonard has the ability and Steve Angeli has the ability to make this room pop. But this room popping is going to be the difference of why we go 10-2 or 15-0. So it's important that the receivers have enough of an impact throughout this year to show and to take his offense to the next level and Marcus Freeman's program to the next level. How good? I mean, how much more good can we get at recruiting running backs and O linemen and tight end? I mean, we're masters of recruiting those 3 positions, which is consistent. Like people will say that that's a good program builder. You go anywhere in the country, if you can recruit linemen, tight ends, and running backs consistently, put them in the league, get them in the Hall of Fame status, all of that, you most of the time are going to have a great team, and most schools will be happy with that. Notre Dame is a little different. Our expectations are championships, which takes a quarterback, which takes receivers in this day and age. So it's not good enough to do what everybody else thinks is good. Essentially, everybody else think, well, y'all got first round O linemen, first round running backs, first round tight ends, this and that. Yeah, y'all think that's good because it'll give you 7-8 wins. It'll give you 7-8 wins guaranteed. You got those 3 things. The difference with us is that, okay, we're tired of those 7-8 wins. We're more hungry. We need a big-time quarterback. We need a big-time receiver. Those are literally the differences. Just we have superstars at everywhere else. So Riley Leonard being the status that he has going into the season, if you ask them, he should be the carryover to where we should be and where we want to be. We have enough receivers. We don't know who the star is going to be. We have enough, though, that can be like, okay, there's a 1,000-yard Charlie Jones in there somewhere. There's a first, second, third round couple guys in that range if they do what they're supposed to do. This is the find out stage. We're trying to find out because we got it. Before, did we have it? I don't know. This year we got it, but can we show it? Can Denbrock put it out there and put these guys in positions to be successful outside the hashes? Because we've seen them do it last year. Made 2 who, in my opinion, were already first-round guys, but just made them even more of a first-round guy. Right? So we can copy similar success. I think we'll have a good season.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. I want to dig a little bit deeper into this conversation. As always, you can follow us CFB Nation. Lock in. Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, YouTube. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up. It helps with the views. Your questions, your comments, we respond to all because we greatly appreciate you guys and how you continue to help with the growth. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast, home of the misguided passion, forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. Let's dig a little bit deeper into this, Left, because I think there is a conspiracy theory side to this when it talks about the struggles, because you gave the reference point of the defensive tackle position and what a 2024 five-star defensive tackle out of Chicago said when he looked at what was being recruited next to him and asked the question, who am I going to be? Who am I playing with? Who am I rolling with? Who am I going to war with? From a defensive standpoint, other than defensive back, right? Because defensive back, this correlation is kind of funny. If there were diva positions defensively, you probably would say the diva positions defensively are cornerback and defensive tackle. But that's where you get like your divas on defense. In contrast to offense, where maybe some quarterbacks, no disrespect, Left, there are some quarterbacks that can be divas. There are a few. But I think the true divas of the offensive side of the ball are wide receivers without any question. I don't think anybody.
Just
by the way, the Netflix wide receiver series is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely.
Way more diva than quarterbacks, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm just making sure we can agree
absolutely. Hold on. No pushback from me on that. None
yes.
So my point is, we're talking about positions that Notre Dame currently have a perception that they're struggling to land talent at.
Okay.
That are perceived as diva positions. And my question is, the Notre Dame brand, is it hard to sell the Notre Dame brand to positions that are somewhat along the lines of being divas, or along the lines of positions that might be more hungry when it comes to NIL packages and other extra benefits other than Notre Dame being poor for forever in a situation where you can get a great education and play elite football and still get to the NFL? I just wonder, it's easy to sell that to an offensive lineman, easy to sell that to a middle linebacker, right? There was difficulty getting top defensive backs to come to Notre Dame and sell that, but you saw Mike Mickens start to turn that table, right? You saw Chris O'Leary before he left, he was turning the table in recruiting, but it took him a while. It took him getting a Kyle Hamilton to get drafted to really attract the attention of an Ivan Taylor, who, by the way, recently spoke and said the main reason after he decommitted and left and committed to Michigan, which I'm going to call cap on, not full cap, but half cap, because I do think the Chris O'Leary situation affected his recruiting. He said that was the main reason. Nah, bruh, let's keep it funky. Ethan Long was in the class. Jadon Blair was getting ready to come into the fold. And Michigan just lost a bunch of talent in the secondary, specifically at safety position, via the transfer portal and injuries. Let's keep it a buck and a little bit of a bag. Let's keep it all the way funky in 100.
That's right.
That's my opinion. He could BPC, Chris O'Leary. I'm sorry, Mike Mickens a better coach than Chris O'Leary, in my opinion. Especially if we're going to look from a development standpoint. Let's keep it all the way funky.
Mike Mickens definitely is a better developer.
So you get a chance to be coached by Mike Mickens? You were that in love with Chris O'Leary?
But that just shows you the difference right there, that is either a really good coach that can change the perception, But other than the coach being the difference maker, which I think if we had a Mike Brown now, Cardinal Tate would be more attracted to Notre Dame. But Notre Dame doesn't have anything sexy about it to appeal to a diva, right? That's like trying to convince a stripper to come to church. It's just hard. Yeah, the stripper should go to church. There's a lot of good benefits for her to go to church. But at the same time, that's not her first choice. And that's just what Notre Dame is. Notre Dame's just not ever going to be a sexy pick compared to a Texas when it comes to catering to a diva-like mentality at receiver. Notre Dame's perception when you go there is this is a team, you're going to be challenged, and you're going to play your role. Now, if you do those things, you'll come out on top. But this whole do what you want attitude and, you know, you do whatever you need to do and they just babying you through the process, it's just not a place that you'll survive at Notre Dame. It'll be the first couple weeks. You'll be like, oh yeah, this ain't it. Oh no. Because there's no baby to Notre Dame. It's just hard for them to baby you because it's just too much going on. You know, the expectations are too high. It's too fancy of a place. So lack of discipline is what comes with being a diva, in my opinion. And Notre Dame's too organized of a place to support a diva ego, especially the football team. So the ones that do come that are sort of divas, they straighten out eventually. You know, it's just they have to come in with half the mindset of, I may be a diva, but I'm a hard worker too. I'm going to fly under the radar. We're going to make it happen. I.e. all our receivers that ever came to Notre Dame. Corey Holmes fly under the radar. EQ fly under the radar. Miles Boykins fly under the radar. Chase fly under the radar. Javon McKinley fly under the radar. Kevin Austin Braden Lindsey fly under the radar. Half the receivers for a good chunk of the time were switched over to receiver. Receiver was like the graveyard position of the team. Hell, if you couldn't work out at running back, oh, you go to receiver.
That's a good point, love.
Can't shake it at quarterback, can't shake it at running back. Oh, you just jump over to receiver. We need bodies over there. So it just showed you that Notre Dame didn't even treat the receiver position with the grace that it treated the O-line. We was just throwing coaches over there. Hell, hey Dale, we need some help over receivers. You help out. So Notre Dame didn't value the Notre Dame receiver position well. I mean, even 2012, we were hurting so bad. We was like, Eifert, you go out the receiver. Troy Nicholas, you jump out at receiver. So it's like receiver was a makeshift position for a long time. Hell, the years Tommy was there, we had converted Kevin Austin, converted Avery Davis. Those were our 1 and 2.
Talk about it, love.
Jesus Christ. They at least Intramural has designated guys for a position. We're out here just putting band-aids at the receiver position when we don't have to. That's what makes it so crazy. You putting band-aids over there for what? That's how I knew it was going to be tough with Sam Hartman, because Sam Hartman's number one guy was a quarterback at one point. Avery Davis. That's what we was looking to be that X-rated, underrated factor. Hell, we were hyping up a lacrosse player in Jordan with 19 receptions. These are the stories coming out of the receiver room. Not Amon-Ra St. Brown. We had the other St. Brown. So the stories that came out of the receiver room, Charlie Jones having more yards than the whole room. Avery Davis got to get on YouTube to learn how to get off the ball. Braden Lindsey talk about we didn't have no releases for a long time. I mean, we didn't care about the position enough until recently. It just feels like We ain't never had no stories like that with the running backs. We ain't never heard, oh man, I had to learn how to take a 3-step drop on YouTube. That's never happened at the quarterback position. Running backs never been like, I didn't know what the pitch was between a pitch and a toss, or an inside zone, outside zone. I had to call my friends from high school to tell me. The only position that's been lackluster in having these crazy stories, hell, Xavier Watts. We had a defensive player of the year come out of that receiver room. Think about that. Think about how disorganized. Think about how disorganized our receiver room has been since 2012. We've had the defensive player of the year come out of the receiver room. Didn't even really play receiver. We asked him because we needed another body. Hey, just shoot over the safety real quick, because, I mean, you ain't doing nothing over here.
Wait a minute. Left. I'll take it a step further. When they had injuries during camp last year and needed bodies at the receiver, actual bodies that could go out, get reps, and make plays, that cat Xavier Watts said, "Nah, I'm good. I'll stay on defense."
He said, I don't want to go back over there.
Nah, I prefer to stay over here.
Hell, CJ pro size. We said, CJ, we need another body, man. Come to running back. And got him drafted at running back. So not only are we hitting and missing, but we're missing in that receiver room.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
you got the receiver coach talking about we ain't got no talent in there.
Yes, the former receiver coach, literally
dissing his own room.
Aren't you responsible for adding talent?
He's complaining about the talent he brings in his own room. What are we talking about? He's trying to save his job by dissing the room he's coaching. That just tells you we didn't have something going on in that room. What, Chancey Stuckey in his escapades?
What's the toughest, in your opinion, is the wide receiver position the toughest to recruit at Notre Dame?
We made it the toughest. We literally made it the toughest by not putting no serious receiver coach in there ever, by not supporting the receiver position through the offense ever. People view the receiver position at Notre Dame as a throwaway. As like, if you don't go for quarterback, running back, or tight end before transferring, they make you a receiver. Now, if you can't make it as a receiver at Notre Dame, that's when you transfer. That's the last stop.
And have success, though.
Have success.
Cats transfer from Notre Dame and have success.
Have success. Lawrence
Keys.
Lawrence Keys leaves the receiver room, gets
Guyton.
better. Lawrence Keys leaves the receiver rooms, gets better. What's the receiver that went to Cincinnati and came back to Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame at home? With Desmond Ridder.
I know Jalen Guyton, you played.
Jalen Guyton in the league.
In the league.
What's the kid's name? That left Notre Dame, went to Cincinnati, and then Cincinnati came back and beat us. And he started.
I'm trying to think, Left. Are you sure it was
There's another kid, Michael Young.
Young.
Two kids from Louisiana came to Notre Dame and both left and had better careers after they left.
Yes.
Michael Young and Lawrence Keys.
Yes. And Michael Young, if you go back to his freshman year, that Northwestern game on the road, he had a really big catch in that game. A catch and run. So you knew he had talent. It's like you said, Left, man, you really explained it, laid it out. I stayed surface with it. You just opened it up to the root, to the depths of the foundation. Wow.
It's just crazy. So when we start caring more, I'm sure it'll start being better for us. We care about the tight ends. Hell, every year the last 8-7 years, has been getting a first round tight end. Like, so much so you start forgetting that we had amazing tight ends. I forgot Brock Wright had a career.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about Brock Wright and damn near Cole Kmet. And then Michael Mayer pop up the next year. Shit, Ben Koyak was good. Troy Nicholas was, I mean, come on, we haven't missed that tight end ever. Oh, Tommy Trimble. I forgot about Tommy Trimble just getting drafted and getting picked. Like, come on. Whatever secret sauce is in that tight end room, Holden States. Durham Smythe, the longest playing NFL tight end for Notre Dame right now. And Durham wasn't even a top 5 player when he was at Notre Dame on offense. So it's like, whatever they used in the tight end room, just take it over to the receiver room.
Wow, Left. You just made me feel worse about the situation. I still believe it's a silver lining for what we saw with these 3 recruits and their response to what Notre Dame was able to pitch. It just didn't have any substance, bro. I think Notre Dame made incredible pitches to these 3 young men, but the substance behind it.
It's so good at tight end for Notre Dame. We don't even know who the coach is. Ever. We don't talk about the tight end coach like we talk about Harry Heastan to the O-line. Because the tight end coach position has been the most rotated position, I think, on the team. I mean, Denbrock's been over there. Booker's been over there. I mean, these guys aren't tight end savants or nothing. These guys are just coaches that have coached the position. We don't even need a tight ends coach at this point. Who was Michael Mayer's tight end coach? Don't even know. Don't even know.
Oh, man. You so
Who was the position coach when Cole Kmet was there? Nobody knows. Nobody, Brock Wright's coach. Nobody knows. I don't even remember the coaches I had at tight end. Who was it?
Bro. It was the guy that ended up being your offensive coordinator last year, bro.
Jared Parker.
You're being so disrespectful right now, bro.
No, it's highlighting the fact that the talent has overshadowed anything that a coach could do in that room. I mean, we've had someone drafted since 2001. Oh, my God. And you don't see no statue of no tight end coach at Notre Dame. Who's the Denbrock of tight end coaches for Notre Dame? I mean, I'm sorry, the Heastan for tight end coaches. There's not one because we've had about 7.
Well, who would be that standard for wide receiver? Who is the standout wide receiver coach at Notre Dame?
We don't have one.
I don't know. I think that 92 to 90. Left, you
For real.
You are bringing up some points, my brother, that man.
We literally had a receiver coach go to the media and complain. You talking about he got no talent. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? My thing is, what happens next? I think if we somehow have the offense be a 60-40 with the receivers, you know what I mean? Just give us 60-40. We should actually have the DBs improvement and evolution. The DBs were seen just like the receivers for a long time, where we had guys go get drafted but we always complained that we could never stop anybody throwing the football. Julian Love was at Notre Dame during that time when we said we couldn't guard anybody. Julian Love was there.
NFL top 100, baby. Just gonna throw that in there.
NFL top 100. Back when we said we couldn't guard a lick in the passing game, Julian Love was a starting corner. And guess who the other starting corner was? Cole Luke, an NFL guy. And guess who all the babies were? Your Jalen Elliott's, your Troy Pride, your Dante Bonds, all guys in the league. And
So,
we couldn't guard anybody.
this is crazy. So you just talked about Steve Adazio was a tight end coach at Notre Dame.
Who?
Yes, man.
That's
I'm literally looking like,
like whoever the coach is.
Okay, Bob Shamil was the tight end coach from 94 to 97. I'm looking at this list. This is crazy, bro. Yeah, you're right. Mike Denbrock coached tight ends, as you said, as you stated previously.
We literally were throwing anybody over there.
Bro, Skip Holtz was a wide receiver coach at Notre Dame. Skip Holtz.
Now, I'm a Skip Holtz fan, though. I think Skip Holtz is a great coach.
Okay. I'm just pointing out he was a wide receiver coach. Can they bring him back? Most Notre Dame fans might say that the way he's blossomed. And of course, Urban Meyer coached wide receivers at Notre Dame. Trent Miles, who's turned out to be a really good coach wide receivers at Notre Dame. Bernie Parmalee did coach tight ends from 2005 to 2009 under your boy Charlie Weiss. He absolutely did.
So tight end just seems to be the entry position of doing something else.
But you're right. You're right. As far as tight ends and wide receiver coaches, wow. That's love. You just gave me a nice little history lesson. The lack of attention being given to the coaching at the wide receiver. It's deeper than we think.
But that lines up with how we've called offense.
Yeah.
We've called offense neglecting the receivers because it's like, who cares? We got the best running back, tight end, O-line. Quarterback we recruited well up until a point, and then it became very targeted recruiting. So,
Now, on the flip side, because we talk about the defensive line position, specifically defensive tackle, there are some very memorable defensive line coaches at Notre Dame. Elston, Greg Madison.
Elston was there for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
He might be the winningest D-line coach of all time.
Yeah, Bill Myers back in the 70s.
Man, shout out to Elston, man. He did 10 years at Notre Dame. And then the year he left, he ended up winning a championship, man. It's all at his own school.
John Palermo, the guy that recruited and developed Chris Zorich, Frank Stamps, and Jeff Alm and Bob Dahl. Yeah, there are definitely more well-known defensive line coaches that have coached in Notre Dame. The attention has definitely been paid to the defensive line side of the defensive line when it comes to coaching. And Notre Dame has been able to consistently develop D-line. Heck, they're going to have 2 defensive tackles drafted this year left. 2 defensive tackles are going to be drafted this year. And to be honest, they have 3. You can say what you want to say about Al Washington. Al Washington has 3 defensive linemen coming to the cookout this week at Notre Dame from Chicago.
Well, they're not his cousins, right? They're not his cousins or family member or kin just coming to see the school.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that, Left. Stop that. We're going to give the man credit. We're going to give the man credit where he deserves it.
They're not just coming to just see a good uncle at school. No.
They're all dudes. They're dudes. Okay? And stop that. They're dudes. They're dudes. Now, shout out to I put up a story, Mikhail Blade, formerly of Hillcrest High School, Country Club Hills. I wrote a story that's over at IB right now. Go check it out if you haven't already. He transferred. Funniest dude. I'm in California, right? So I'm just checking in with kids, playing Daddinger and just, working. I hit just a random Wednesday night in LA, random Left. I hit Mikhail Blade and I'm like, yo, how's practice going? Oh man, Mr. Davis is going good. Everything's real chill, da 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 da. And then he hits me with this. I transferred to Simeon, right? I said, what? I said, no, you didn't tell. How would I know that if you didn't tell me? Like summertime, we know Chicago is always going to have massive transfers for basketball. Happens all the time. No one transfers in the summertime to a football program in Chicago. I said, you did that on purpose. He started laughing. I was like, y'all did this under the radar. I was like, y'all, then he hit me with, what he hit me with? Mr. Davis, make sure you still go to the Hillcrest games, man. They still got some good players over there. I said, Mikhail, you're a really good boys, man. I said, Mikhail, you're a really good kid, boy. You're a really good kid. I said, I'm going to do that for you because it's literally 10 minutes from the crib. So I do that for you. I love that kid. I love that kid. He's going to be there. Gabe Hill from Naperville North talked to his coach, Greg Drendale, a little bit yesterday about him and what makes him great. Gabe Hill from Naperville North, Mikhail Blade from Simeon, who is playing opposite of Christopher Burgess Jr. He'll be on the same defensive line as Christopher Burgess Jr., 2025 commit for Notre Dame. They definitely are the top. They're the top bookend pass rushers in the entire state. It's not even close. My opinion. Braden Jones and Mount Carmel might have the best defensive line in totality. But we're just talking about pass rushing from the edge because Mikhail Blade is going to be playing the edge of Simeon. And then some packages he'll move around and move inside. And then Braden Jones. All 3 of those young men are going to be at the Grill and Chill, the cookout for Notre Dame. If Al Washington can get it, Al Washington, look at me. Look. I'm like Stephen A. Smith. Give me my solo shot. Give me my solo shot.
What camera? What camera?
Right. What camera? Al Washington, sir. Just get the 3 Chicago kids.
That's it.
Not every year. Dude, we've moved on from Justice Scott.
Yes, we have moved on.
We moved on from Marquise Lightfoot. We moved on. You got Christopher Burgess in 25. 2026, Al Washington. Please. This is not my bias. Watch the film. It's not bias talking. Just watch the film. Left, what did I tell you? We're not going to give you quarterbacks. We're not going to give you wide receivers like that. We'll give you 1 or 2 every year. We're not like Florida. But what we got? Oh, this defensive line, this offensive line, right here in Chicago. Oh, we got that. We give that to you every year. Every year. 5-star, 4-star, 5-star, 4-star, every year.
You get a D lineman or 2.
Just 70 miles away. Just 70 miles away. That's all. All three are coming to the cookout. Don't get slick with it. Just get all three. Don't get slick with it. Don't try to prioritize one over the other. No. Sit them all down in the room and tell all three, as my boy Baby would say from Cash Money, we want all three of y'all.
All three.
We want all three. We want all three of y'all. Just let it be known this weekend. Jets, we want all three of y'all.
Yeah.
In that New Orleans accent. Let them know. We want all three of y'all. And that right there, that's the foundation of defensive line class. You got a defensive end and Braden Jones. You got a true D tackle and Gabe Hill. And then you got a hybrid and Mikael Blade. They go inside and outside. Set the foundation. And then if you want to go after like a national recruit, top 100, top 50 kid, go get him. Go get him.
Get him.
But you got 3 4-stars from the city of Chicago fitting right there. Just right.
70 miles away. Far now.
Easiest pie. You don't have to go through all that diva stuff. And I'll give Al Washington this. Al Washington has done an incredible job in establishing a relationship with all three. I talked to Greg Drendell, Naperville North coach, yesterday. He flat out said it's 2 coaches that he has a great relationship with. Al Washington and the defensive line coach of Illinois. Al Washington, if you let Illinois take Gabe Hill, we're going to have some problems.
It's going to have some problems because it doesn't make, because now it's not making no sense. We can take the mistake.
See, I understand the wide receiver position. See, with the defensive tackle position at Notre Dame,
no excuse.
Getting the 5 stars may have been a problem. You said that getting the 300 pounds.
The last one since Jerry.
But I'm
Jerry
saying
was the last one.
The defensive tackles from Notre Dame, Kirk Hinish became a starter with the Texans. Left.
He was starting with the Texans, yeah.
So there are plenty of defensive tackles from Notre Dame and defensive linemen that get to the NFL. Both of the Aquaras are playing in the NFL. I don't know where Jerry Tillery is now.
He was with the Raiders. I don't know if he's with the Raiders still.
I think he got released from the Raiders too. But my point is, we have seen proof of development at the position that matriculates and gets drafted in the NFL at the defensive line position. We've seen it. We've seen Aaron Lynch in the NFL. We've seen Sheldon Day. We've seen Stephon Tuitt. We've seen it. My issue is, Left, moving forward, that's not as much. It's a diva position because of NIL, right? Brian Smith at B Scout flat out said the going rate is $500K for a top defensive tackle in NIL. You're not even getting in the door. $500K.
This is transfer portal, or this is out of high school?
No. This is high school. This is high school.
Yeah.
You're not even getting in the door. $500K. Now, I don't know if that's the check cut before you get there or if it's broken down over 3-4 years while you play. Now, it's not really, I got Domawop said, look, looking into it, everything, it's probably not a sustainable market, but that's what exists today. I don't want to talk about markets. I'm talking about what exists today for 25 and 26 kids.
Damn.
This is why the Chicago kids are important, Left. All 3 of the Chicago kids love Notre Dame. Their coaches love Notre Dame. And they all have the intent of playing in close proximity to Chicago because they're all 3 Midwest kids. But don't get it twisted. The SEC schools are coming.
Yes, they are.
They're coming. Don't look at their offer sheets now. Greg Drendell flat out said Gabe Hill, most of his offers, Iowa, Michigan, Notre Dame, Illinois. Yo, Big Ten schools. They want them. He said, but the schools outside from far away are starting to come in. And guess what? Schools like UCLA, USC, and Oregon now, throw them into the mix because they're Big Ten schools now. So now they're going to pay attention to Chicago kids. Al Washington, I wear Chicago on my sleeve. Everybody knows that. I don't hide that. Yes, I'm going to show my bias. But let me tell you something. If no other year in recruiting other than 2026, please get greedy and pay attention to the Chicagoland area along the defensive line in 2026. All three are going to be at the cookout. Just tell them you want all three. Just tell them, hey, I want all three. All three. Let's not get into that prior to being priority. This person. No. We want all three.
Yeah.
Flat out. All three. Get you guys in the class, and then we'll go after the Golden Gooses.
Yeah, then we go after the other ones. Yeah.
We got some top 50 guys we want, 5 stars we want to go after. Fine. I'm telling you.
It should be a D-line focus for sure.
That's all I'm telling you. Wide receivers in 2026, cast a wide net. Just cast a wide net. Continue to be bold. Continue to go after the big dogs.
Yeah.
This is my only issue, Left. Do not settle. A lot of people have an issue not only with the fact that they went 0 for 3 with the big-time wide receivers, but a lot of people feel like they settled with the kids that committed. Because there are a lot of recruits in between. Maybe like a Cooper Perry.
Oh my gosh.
Kids like that.
Cooper Perry is the best player I've seen this year.
That maybe you had an opportunity to really get.
Listen, if we can steal Cooper Perry, we need to work on that. Cooper Perry is the best player.
That's what I'm saying. That's why fans are really upset. It is a combination of the two. It really is. It's a combination.
I'm upset if we stopped recruiting Cooper Perry. Yes, I'm upset.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. So yes, to close it up, as Left pointed out, it broke down the wide receiver position and the defensive tackle positions being diva positions, and how that might make things a little bit difficult from a perception standpoint to recruit to Notre Dame. At the end of the day, if you want to win, it has to be done.
Yeah.
Those are two positions that you have to get right. You have to get right if you want to win. Lucky Lucky podcast, man. I mean, hopefully the 2 defensive tackles that are going to get drafted this year, hopefully that helps. SHAUN Jr., if he splashes as a freshman.
What's Devin Houston looking like?
I mean, he's building. Devin Houston and Brennan Vernon are very important to see. This Left. You can talk about this and explain it because you are a coach. Brennan Vernon, Devin Houston, Armel Mukam, Bubakar Traore, Jason Onyé to an extent. I'll just mention those 5. Those kids have to pop. Al Washington, if you want your resume to start looking better from a recruiting, development, and NFL standpoint, dude, at least 3 of those 5 have to pop. You say, well, what do you mean? Isaiah Foskey wasn't yours, my man. Heck, there's a lot of people that might tell you that Howard Cross doesn't belong to you. That's Mike Elston's guy. A lot. I'm not going to go that far. But some people can say that. Heck, even Gabriel Rubio coming back, making an impact. Sean Sevillano Jr. These are the guys that are going to have to show and prove for the ultimate respect to come to Al Washington. Those are the guys. Not Riley Mills and Howard Cross. Because a lot of people are going to flat out say, look, Mike Elston recruited, developed. Hey, you came in. They were already in the process of becoming who they were. Yes, you've coached them. You've gotten them to reach potential. You deserve some credit, but you're not going to get the full credit. So this is what faces Mike Brown. This is what faces Al Washington. This is what faces both of those guys. But I do think the greatest help for both of them this year is going to be the performance. I think the Notre Dame defensive line is going to be really good. I believe the Notre Dame wide receivers are going to be really good. I think both positions are going to see success at the combine and eventually in the NFL draft. And I think that's going to bode well in recruiting moving forward for those two important positions for Notre Dame. Flat out. Lucky Lefty podcast. All right. Hey, it is what it is. That's the silver lining, man. This season that starts down in College Station in the performance of the wide receivers and the defensive tackle. Let's get ready to close it out with this, Left. United Airlines is the worst, Left. Let me tell you why United Airlines is the worst. Let me go ahead and just throw them on the petty train, Left. I was supposed to be back Thursday night. Caught the 9 o'clock out of LAX. Had to connect in Phoenix, a 50-minute layover. I landed Phoenix, 11 o'clock flight. We get in line to board, and they close the door and tell us it's going to be a few moments. It's going to be just a few moments.
Oh, you're sitting on the plane, on the runway.
No. I'm standing in line to board. This is last Thursday night, 11 o'clock, Western time. Then they come back and say it's going to be about an hour delay. Our systems have gone down.
Oh, this is back when the whole Microsoft thing shut down.
Now we don't know what's going on though. They're just telling us, feeding us BS.
Oh, you're getting the blue screen. You're getting the blue screen thing.
Yeah.
It'll
be 30 minutes. Then they come back. Oh, it's going to be an hour.
After the hour they just said.
Then yes. Then they open the door again, and everybody starts jumping up, getting excited, right?
Yeah.
And finally, the pilot comes out and says, well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just timed out. And for those of you that don't know what that means, because the union for the workers, the stewards, and the pilots,
they can only work so many hours.
And that includes like technical difficulties,
If you're on the clock, you're on the clock.
You're on the clock. So while we're waiting, the crew times out.
They're like, look, it looks at the clock, it's 8 o'clock, we done. We done.
Crew times out. By this time, it's like 1-something in the morning, bro.
And you're sitting at the airport at 1 in the morning.
Now
and the crew just tell you we're done.
So the crew comes out and says, yeah, they're not sending another crew. We've timed out, so we can't do this flight. And
tomorrow.
Honestly, the truth of the matter is, thank you for the captain of that flight that was honest finally. To be honest, we are suffering from, at that time, they thought it was a cyber attack. And he said all of the systems are down all over the country.
And this was at 1 o'clock in the morning.
1-something in the morning, Left.
Oh my God.
1-something in the morning. And Left, I'm sitting here like, you gotta be kidding me, right? But then This is why United is the worst, bro. We're
You
gonna
went
get
United?
yes, I'm on United. My
You'd be
flight,
better off on the
was,
Frontier.
my flight was booked for me though. My flight was booked for me. I told you I was in dadager mode, bro.
Yeah.
I was living a good life. I was, it was a free flight. So I'm not complaining, but I'm inconvenienced. So they come back around 2 left and say, we're going to get you guys out first thing tomorrow morning. So now, do I go to the hotel or do I just sleep in the airport?
Yeah, do you even leave? Because the morning is what, like 5 hours?
Yeah. And by this time, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Heck, the people that had 6 a.m. flights, 5 a.m. flights, they're about to start walking in anyway.
They about to be here. Shit. You might as well go to the little
fast forward
store or something.
Fast forward, bro. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. It just happens to be the same weekend as the WNBA All-Star game in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the same weekend. United Airlines continued to lie for 2 days.
2 days?
Left, I did not take off. This was Thursday night.
Wait a minute.
I did not take off from Phoenix, Arizona until 6 p.m. Saturday.
No, you're lying. Wait a minute. So at 2 a.m. on Thursday, they telling you, okay, we'll get you out in the morning.
The first lie was at 11 p.m. on Thursday.
Okay, yeah. They lied about that, get you to 2 a.m. on Thursday night.
Not telling us the truth. Not telling us what's really going on. Oh, it's just a glitch. We'll get you guys out of here in 30 minutes. Dude, all the airports are down. Just tell us what it is. If you tell me at 11 p.m. this is what it is, I'm going to the hotel.
Yeah, I'm going to the hotel. Easy.
I'm going to the hotel. And I'm good. No. They keep me there.
So you stayed to the morning of that?
I stayed to the morning. I get a flight out at 5 o'clock on Friday. I stand in line.
In the morning, 5 in the morning?
No, 5 p.m.
Oh, so what you doing all day at the airport?
What do you mean? I stayed in the airport. They were nice enough to come around and give us toothbrush and shaving kits.
No way.
Oh, dude. So I stayed in the
so
airport.
You're living in the airport from Thursday night to about 5 the next day.
My wife stays on the phone with United for 2 hours and gets me a flight. The people that were on my flight that got canceled, they didn't get rebooked. They got rebooked for the same 11 o'clock flight the next day. Yes, that was the courtesy they gave us. They booked us for the same flight the next day at 11 p.m. My wife stayed on the phone with United for 2 hours and finally got me booked on the 5 o'clock flight. We stood in line. We're ready to board.
At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on Friday.
All day at the airport.
All day. And the bleeping crew timed out again, Left. I kid you not. I kid you not.
How does the crew time out when they have a scheduled flight?
Because they're behind. And they're delayed coming from where they're coming from. So they get there late, right? The mechanical crew jumps on board that plane because they found something. They're correcting that. And the crew times out because we couldn't close the door by 6:05 p.m. Left. I promise you, this was the worst, right?
Yeah, this is why we have.
But this is what makes it worse. This is what makes it worse. The lady comes over the airway and she said, "Unfortunately, the crew is timed out and this flight has been canceled."
Oh, the whole flight canceled?
The whole flight is canceled. There will be no new crew. We're sorry. Nothing else. Nothing about come get a meal voucher, come get a hotel voucher on us. Nothing. Just like, man, we're sorry. That's life. We're sorry. Are you kidding me?
No, man.
Are you kidding me?
No rebook, no $500 to get your money back.
None of that. Don't come ask us to rebook. Go through
Oh,
the
yeah,
United.
Yeah, we're saying sorry,
go
as
through
in,
the app.
come over here.
Go through the app or call United.
No.
I mean, it wasn't for me. Like I said, my flight was paid for. It was how dismissive they were of the inconvenience. And when we finally found out that it was the overseas security firm running some update that inconvenienced everybody worldwide, so it wasn't directly their fault. They just felt like it's not directly our fault, so we don't owe anybody anything. And Delta was worse. Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta, I feel blessed because Hartsfield Airport in Atlanta until yesterday was still packed.
From backed up flights.
Yes. People have slept in the airport in Atlanta for 4 to 5 days.
4 to 5 days.
4 to 5 days. It's been a disaster. It's been a disaster.
Well, so why didn't you switch airlines?
This is my fault. This is my fault.
Okay.
This is my fault. On Friday, I called my assistant. My assistant got me booked on a 3 o'clock flight on Southwest going to Chicago.
Yeah, Southwest is great.
It was last minute. It cost about $470.
Yeah.
She booked it. When my wife calls back, like, yo, I got you booked on the 5 o'clock flight with United. I call my assistant and tell her, get the money back.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Man, I'm trying to go home a little early.
I call her and say, get the money back from Southwest.
I got one at 5.
I got the free flight is at 5. By the time I call her back to say, yo,
it was over.
Is there anything else on Southwest? No. They're booked for the rest of the evening.
Hell no, it's done.
So I leave, I get a hotel. I don't even care. She's like, where do you want to stay? I'm like, dude, as long as it's near the airport, I don't care. Dude, Dude, the commercial, I didn't feel any smarter, by the way. So the commercial is a complete fraud. I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't feel any smarter the next day. So whatever. So I get to the airport, bro. I got a 5 o'clock. So wait a minute. He books me on the 5 o'clock Southwest. Me, I rebooked myself on the 5 o'clock on United. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have 2 options.
Yeah, there's no way. I'm
getting on a plane today. Tomorrow is church. I definitely have to be in Chicago.
We're going
on Sunday, bro. I get to the airport, and this is why, man, I'm so thankful. I get to the airport, and it definitely was Holy Spirit. I'm not gonna sit up there and say something told me. Holy Spirit was like, check your Southwest app. I'm sitting there in a restaurant. Oh, and shout out to United Saturday morning for finally sending me a $15 meal voucher. After 2 days of inconvenience, a $15 meal voucher that can't buy me anything close to a real meal in the airport. Appreciate it. The heck out of here. They're the worst, bro. The worst. I got both flights booked. Holy Spirit tells me while I'm sitting at the bar. Fabulous tortilla soup, by the way, out in Arizona. Fabulous. I've never had tortilla soup.
Hey, they got
with the avocado in it. I should have called you, Left. I never thought about calling you.
I was there.
I never thought about calling you.
I would have picked you up, man. We had a good old time, man.
Something told me to check the Southwest app. I checked the Southwest app, and they just happened to have a few seats left on their 3 o'clock. I called my assistant and said, yo, get a seat on this 3 o'clock. She grabbed it.
Didn't even follow through.
I grabbed the 3 o'clock. Moved, man. Checked in. And finally, at about 5:35, we took off. The plane was delayed for another 2 hours, but I was fine.
Oh, but you're on the plane.
Yeah. Supposed to take off 3. We ended up taking off at 5:30. I didn't care. Jesus. I was sitting in the middle. I didn't care, bro.
Yeah. At that point, you don't care.
I didn't care, bro. And
just get me home, man.
Get me out of here. God is good. I landed at about 11:15. Had to wait another 40 minutes for my luggage. I didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago now.
I'm in Chicago. I'm home. I've been inconvenienced. I've been dismissed. Don't even give a darn. That's okay. United, I'm coming from my hotel. I got my receipt. I'm coming from my hotel. You believe that?
The reimbursement office will get a call tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. I got my receipts for the food, that little $15 voucher. Nah. I got my Uber receipts for the Uber Eats I ordered at the hotel.
Oh, you done got the whole thing.
All of it. Give me my grip. Yes. Lefty podcast.
Most people not gonna follow through with like that thorough. That's why
I had to get that off my chest. And this is our show. This is my opportunity to get it off my chest. I got it off my chest. I'm done with it. United, I'm coming for you. I need my scratch. I
didn't forget.
I need my scratch. I need my Skrilla. Yes, I do. I'm gonna need that up off you.
That you calling days later and be like, I done calculated all this expenses that y'all inconvenienced me for. Y'all talk about sorry. Sorry.
Need that.
No. We get sorry this reimbursement.
And federal law says, even though it's not directly connected to you, I am still able to recoup those funds, and I shall.
Right. Thank you. Oh, you done looked up the policies and regulations.
Absolutely. Because they're not using that. Oh, it wasn't us.
No, you jumping the codes and rules.
Yeah.
He says right here, if it's not my fault, I deserve everything I just spent.
Yeah. Camp starts next week. Notre Dame has its first practice July 31st. We'll hear from Marcus Freeman as well after their first practice next week. Hey, Lef.
The policies. Wait, but you supposed to get the insurance on your flight, though. You see what I'm saying? If you got the insurance on the flight, you would have got all that money back already.
Well, I couldn't get the refund from the flight that I didn't take.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't pay for it.
Because they canceled.
I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. Oh,
so the refund is going to go back to the third party regardless. So I'm like, man,
man, because that's what they do. They'll try to give you the runaround. Oh, you got to call this number on the app. Call this office over here. Yeah, they try to run you around.
So that was my 2.5 days in Phoenix, Arizona, trying to get home.
Didn't golf. Didn't get no. Got some good soup and a bunch of receipts you got to get reimbursed for.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast, bro. July 31st. Oh man, Left. Going into this camp, and we're going to break it down positionally next week. But going into this camp, Left, give me 3 points that you want to hear early coming out of this camp. At the beginning of the camp, give me the things you want to hear from Marcus Freeman early as he comes to the podium and as they head into practice 2, 3, and 4 early in this camp. Like, what do you need to hear?
Gas Riley Leonard, hopefully some positive news about him not missing a beat or him coming in on fire, something like that, because they would ease a lot of the anxieties of, is he even going to be ready by the time we roll out there? So that'd be nice. That'd be nice to hear. Some surprising D-line news. Guys that we didn't expect, or guys that have made a bigger impact than we thought, or guys that have been doing the damn thing. I think it's important to get some news out of that, because that's going to set the tone for what our defense will look like. Because we already know the secondary is good. Your linebackers are young, exciting, fresh, explosive. But D-line is old and young enough that they're going to determine how we start off the year, So that would be good. And then obviously hearing something good about the receivers. Do we have a better picture of who's going to be out there? Because we already know it's only 6 that is going to be available, and we got about 8 or 9 slots. So them 8 or 9 is going to be battling out for them 6 spots. So it's going to be interesting to see who's making headway, who's being a leader, that sort of thing.
I think for myself, Left, I want to hear Marcus Freeman talk about the overall health of the team and the overall practice being clean. I'll be there at the practice. It is a full open practice to the media, which I greatly appreciate, to jump it off. I don't know how much they're going to show us, but I do want things to appear to be clean. Clean, everybody looking healthy. That's the most important thing for me. I'm not expecting Riley Leonard to just be sharp. I understand he didn't have time in the spring. He did spend time with the receivers in the offseason during that break. I just want everything to be clean. If Riley Leonard is not all the way sharp, I'm going to give him that grace. I'm going to give him that grace. But on top of that, Left, I'm going to need to see some plays from the youngsters. That's what I want to see the most. I'm not worried about the Bo Collins, the Jaden Greathouses, the Chris Mitchells, but I do want to see Cam Williams make a play. I do want to see Micah Gilbert, KK Smith make a play. I want to see some of these young defensive backs make plays. I want to see Drake Bowen in command of that first team defense. I think you're on mute.
I want him to be like Max Bullock. That's like his, Max Bullock. I played against Max Bullock. I know Max Bullock.
Yeah. So I am super excited to watch what transpires and to hear from Marcus Freeman on July 31st. I really am. I have high expectations. My expectations might be a little bit higher than everybody else. Like you said, I need a double-digit win against Texas A&M.
That's all I say. I need a double-digit.
That's what I need. Yeah. I need a double-digit win. Everybody good. I understand. Road game, starting the season off, SEC. I understand all
We're
that.
in year 3. That just doesn't matter.
Man,
year 3 don't matter.
Go smack
year 3 versus year 1 don't matter.
Smack them cats. Go smack them cats. And come back to the crib. That's the way I feel.
Because after that, it's going to be a minute before I feel like we're in danger of anything.
Go smack them cats. And then come back to the crib, run through this schedule in September, October. And then, man, Florida State, USC in November.
It's just too easy for us to not be dominant. Like, come on, guys. Like, I don't know who scheduled it like this, but this is a slam dunk year.
So you want dominance from the jump as well?
Oh, I mean, the first game we need to show dominance, and then after that, it can't be any excuses.
Yeah. I'm with you, Left. So we have high expectations for this team for this season, and we want to see glimpses of that starting out. Definitely want to see. And the youngsters, like I said, along the defensive line, those youngsters that are the recruiting, development, evaluation, development, and sole responsibility of Al Washington. I need to see some of those kids. If Jason Onye can become the player that we have been talking about since last spring in 2023, that's what, if you can have that trio of Cross, Mills, and Onye be impactful, okay. All right. That's how Michigan was able to do it, bro. They had 2 sets of defensive tackles, starters and backups, that came in and there was no drop off. That's what you need. That's what you need. And if Jason Onye and Sean Sevillano Jr. or Gabriel Rubio or one of the other guys can step up and make it a 4-man rotation at that defensive tackle position, you're impacting the pass rush, you're impacting the run rush, the run game, and stuffing the run, that goes a long way to making runs when it comes to the college football playoff. So I need to see that. I expect the running backs to look good. I'm sorry, I just do. They're super uber talented. Coach McCullough is a great coach. I expect the defensive backs to be locked down. Christian Gray, Jaden Mickey, Benji, who you had a great conversation with when you were out there helping him coach at his camp out there in Arizona. Look, yes, there are going to be questions at the safety. You know, Jordan Clark had a great spring. Adon Schuler, is he going to be one of the starters? We'll see. But Mike Mickens is the coach back there, so you feel good about that. Special teams left. Hey, your boy Marty B, you got some work to do. You got some work to do. Missing field goals in the last scrimmage, missing field goals in the blue and gold game. Man, need to correct that. The transfer, one of the best percentage kickers, most accurate kickers in the nation last year. I don't need him to fold his tent when he gets to Notre Dame.
That's right.
Hey, maybe we need to call on the spirit of your guy, Justin Young.
Justin Young, I don't know where he went. He disappeared off the planet.
We need the Justin Young vibe to come
But Blake
back.
Ruby, shout out Blake Ruby.
He was a little erratic at Notre Dame, but he's been fantastic in the NFL.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's been fantastic in the NFL.
Ruby, man.
Yeah, but other than that, you know, we expect great things. We'll report from there. I'll report live. I'm sure I'll put an instant reaction up, and then we'll do a show. But tomorrow we're going to hop in. Join us tomorrow, guys. We're going to hop into Malik's notebook. Malik's notebook with offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, who was the offensive coordinator for Malik when he was there. He found his notebook, and we're going to go over those points and talk about some of the things that will be very important for the quarterback room that still resonate to this day when we're talking about the offensive side of the ball at Notre Dame. And then we're going to get into a little bit of film and some things that Malik, he's going to give some of the things to expect. He's going to tell me what I should see the first practice at camp, what I should see from the Notre Dame offense. I'm excited. I want to get into this notebook. You sent me one page. You teased me. You sent me one page, and that's all I have. How many pages? You had a full notebook, right?
Man, I had a full notebook, man, a little mini book. You know, back in the day, I'm like jot down everything. So I'm meetings and hearing whatever. I was taking stuff down, like, you know. So I was really I was in Denbrock's office a lot at that time. So it's funny that things come full circle. Now he's back in there, and I'm like, oh, I remember writing this down specifically, talking to this man about the stuff. So yeah, it's good.
So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, man. Thank you guys for joining us today. Lock in as always on YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. It helps with the views. And then leave your comments. Ask your questions. We respond to all. I think we did have a GTB question. I didn't highlight it. Let me see if I can find it before we go. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, and also CFB Nation, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Lock in with us. We had a GTB question left. I didn't get a chance to highlight it. I hate that. Thank you for everybody, man, that reached out to us while we were away, encouraging us and telling us that you were waiting for us to get back, man. It was just great to feel like you missed and that you guys enjoy the content that we give you. We appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, that was kind of wild. I just saw somebody's comment from earlier when you talked about the stripper in church, bro. That was wild. And by the way, strippers do go to church.
Oh, do they?
And they do believe in God. Yeah, some of them just, I guess, feel like for that time being, they have to Hey man, who knows, man? I'm not gonna answer for them, but I do know some that have participated in that lifestyle, and at the same time
Same time.
went to worship, went to worship.
Yeah.
So for Left, I'm Sean Davis, man. We bid you adieu until tomorrow at the same time, 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern, where we'll go into Malik's Mike Denbrock notebook and talk some other things. The Grill and Chill. Oh, that's right. The Grill and Chill cookout is today at Notre Dame. Uh, Noah Grubbs, Daniel Anderson, Justin Thurman, James Flanagan, Christopher Burgess Jr., Joseph Reed, Gordy Sufstead, Dominic Hula, Anthony Sacca, Ethan Long, Mark Zachary of the Notre Dame commits from the 25 class that are there. Also, Tyler Merrill, offensive lineman, Chancellor Barclay. Those offensive linemen will be there. Gavin Mueller, tight end, Braden Jones, Mikael Blade, Gabe Hill. Al Washington, Braden Jones, Mikael Blade, Gabe Hill. 3 defensive linemen from Chicago in 26. Get all 3 of them. Go get the guys. Also, Damari Simeon Caldwell, linebacker Thomas Davis Jr. He's coming back. That's his second trip along with his dad. Wasi Lugabo, Sincere Johnson. He comes back for a return trip. Joey O'Brien, the quarterback. Blaine Bradford, the safety, and Jacob Witherspoon, the safety. They will all be there. And before you ask, no wide receivers. No wide receivers. Unless we get further news, no wide receivers. Have a great day. Go over to IB, man. Go see what those guys, they break down the position and the position battles going into the camp. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow, man. Another edition of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Have a great Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. Man.
Yeah, Thursday.
Most of all, make sure you spin it different.